Hey, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, Mr. Michael here with the remote lesson for the week. So my friends, what we're going to do is, like what I told you, what we're going to do at the end of last week, we are going to wrap up our logo lesson, all right? So whether you're with me in class this week, or if you're going to do this remotely from home, we're both doing the same thing, all right? So that's cool. We'll both be able to get it done, whether you're at school or not. So let's go to my workstation and I'll show you what I'm thinking. Alright guys, so remember, like I told you last week, what you're going to do is you're going to make a logo now for either for me, for the Funny Bone, or for your silly ad product that we did a few weeks ago. Alright, you're going to make a logo specifically for it, or you're going to make a logo for a fictional company that is trying to sell your product. All right. So for me, I could do one for either the Funny Bone or a company that I come up with. And let me show you my examples here. My first example is if I came up with a logo specifically for a company that's trying to sell the Funny Bone. And I could say something like, all right, the Funny Bone by Funko, like the Fun Corporation or something like that. All right, and that's what you would see, like maybe above in the corner there on the box or something of the Funny Bone if you were to buy it. And this is like what you would see on all the products that Funko would be selling. All right. And then I also thought, well, what if I wanted to make one specifically for the Funny Bone, but I kind of wanted it to relate back to the Funko logo as well. All right. So what I did was I came up with this one. And if you look at it, and let me get my other one here again. Remember this kind of little clown with the letter O, all right, and his nose is kind of part of the center part of the O there. That's kind of like their logo. Well, there's the Funny Bone one, all right, but the only thing I kind of changed up was instead of having the smile look like this, I made it look like a bone. All right, so for to give it that funny bone, to make it specifically for the Funny Bone. Okay? Now, how I want you to set up your paper, guys, is when you do this. I'm going to use a colored piece of paper just so you can see it a little bit better. All right? But when you do this, what I need you to do is just kind of make sure. I'm going to write it out with a pencil here so you can kind of see it. Or you know what, better yet, I'm going to use a marker so you can see it a little bit better. You don't have to do this, but I just kind of want to show you what I'm thinking. On your piece of paper, just imagine you have like a square or rectangle about like this going all the way around on your paper. All right? If it helps you maybe to measure something out like that, go for it, but I don't think you really need to. The main point is, whatever you're going to draw, again, keep it around the middle, make it kind of big, all right, not small. So if I'm going to say, for example, I'm going to do the Funny Bone again, I'm not going to do it way up here, all right? I don't want parts of it hanging off. If you look on my first example here, I've got it really close to the top here, and I really don't want that, okay? So I want to make sure I leave a little bit of space all the way around. So maybe I just start with, let's see, how about, all right, there was the head, and the nose, and then the eyes. Oh, he's got some sad eyes there. I wasn't going for that. Alright, but then, oh, now he just looks like he's smiling once I get the smile in there. Alright, and then like the little top part of his hat, or the middle part and then the top part. And then his kind of crazy looking kind of stylized hair here. Because remember, these are meant to be something that can be done very quickly. So we're not going for those detailed pictures. We just want something quick and kind of easy. Alright, and there we go. And then I kind of just took an outline and went around everything to give everything that kind of a, I don't know, like an outline you might see like on a sticker or something. I think that kind of helps it out. Alright, and it's still centered up in the middle of my paper pretty well. Alright, not too much this way, not too much that way. And if we look here, go back in now, add some color. Remember, 2 to 3 colors max. All right, you don't want to do more than that because it has to be easily reproducible. And it gets a little harder the more colors that you have to do. All right, guys, so remember, specifically either for your silly ad product or for a company that is trying to represent it. That is what you want your logo to be. All right, and again, 3 colors max, 2 at the least. Because remember, has to be done kind of quickly. It's going to be much easier if you have just a couple of colors. Say if we were doing this like for real. All right, that is one thing a company would look at. How quickly can it be produced? How easily it can be reproduced. All right. So my friends, I did that on just a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. If you want to do it on that, that's great. If you want to do it on a piece that's maybe a little bit bigger, go for it. All right. Or I've had other folks maybe cut their paper down to kind of an 8.5 by 8.5 square. That works just as well too. Just remember, leave that little bit of a border around the paper there because you don't want anything just hanging off. Center it up as best you can. And for this one too, definitely pencil first. All right, that way if you make a mistake, you can erase it. And then please give it an outline. If you want to use a Sharpie, kind of like I did for your outline, great. That's perfect. That kind of black outline, that's great. But also outline it with a colored Sharpie or like Crayola crayon or Crayola markers or something. And then this can also be done with crayons or colored pencils as well. Don't feel like you are stuck with just markers because I use them. All right, my friends. So I can't wait to see these. At the end of the video, kind of like when we did stuff toward the end of last year, I'm going to have my email address. So go ahead when you're done, take a picture of it, email it to me, and so I can see what you're doing. And I can't wait to see these guys. We've taken a while on this project. I can't wait to see how we're going to finish it out. All right, guys. Y'all take care, and adios, amigos.